So beta, let us quickly revise letters to school and college authorities. Okay. So why do we write letters, that is applications to school or college authorities? Basically, those are written with an objective of making a request, right? When you want to give some suggestions or you want to make certain complaints. Okay, from the very childhood, you have learned how to write applications for sick leave, for fee concession, for change of sections. You have learned those kind of applications, right? And now you will also learn, you have already learned that how you want to, if you have to make a request to your principal, if you want to give any suggestions, so how will you write those letters? Okay? So one thing is to be kept in mind that as it is a formal letter, the tone should be very formal and polite. Even if you are criticizing certain things of your school or you are making a complaint, you are lodging a complaint, in that case also, you must keep this thing in mind that you are very polite and courteous, right? So follow the tone that it should be very polite and courteous. You should not speak against anything in a very rude manner. Don't use slang in writing those kind of formal language. Okay? So, and always keep this in mind that you're writing to a person who is very busy. So, keeping that in mind, whatever you write, you should write it very accurately and in brief manner and concise manner. You don't have to elaborate unnecessarily. Even if we talk for the examination purpose, if you elaborate, you lose marks there because there is no need of elaborating your problem there. Talk to the point, write whatever you want to speak, right, in a very brief and concise manner, keeping this that the person who is going to read your letter is a busy person. And accordingly, maintaining the formal tone, you will express what you want to and you will end your letter. Okay? In your exam, the marking scheme is of 5 marks for letter, where 1 mark is for the format, right? Then 2 marks for content and 2 for expression and grammatical accuracy. Okay? So when we talk of the format, there are 2 formats applied for writing applications to the school or college authorities. Is it clear? First is when the letter is written, when the application is written from the point of view of a parent. As a parent or as a guardian, when you are writing a letter to the school principals or college authorities, right? In that case, what you have to say is that the format, it includes sender's address also. Okay? So first thing in your format is the sender's address. Mention it, and sender's address, when we write the name of the street, house number and the city, and then we add date also. The date formats are already explained. That's what you have to write for that. You have to write the date first, then the name of the month. Full name of the month is to be written. यानी कि December है तो DEC लिख दिया. No, write the name of the month in full and then give a comma there and write the year. ठीक है? So this date format is to be written. You are not supposed to write 3rd December, so 3-December-2020 or slashes. Those are not to be added in dates. Okay? So the format of date is to be kept in mind. Then you will write the receiver's designation, the address. So when you are writing to the school principal, who is the addressee here? The principal. Okay? So the principal, then you will write the name of the school and the name of the city. And also keep this in mind that block format is used, so we don't write full stop or comma at the end of each sentence when you are writing sender's address, date or the receiver's address. The commas or full stops are not to be given. Clear? Then after you have written the receiver's address, then you write the subject. And keep this in mind now, the subject, it does not start with a verb. There is a change in the format. Okay? So आप ये नहीं लिखना है requesting to give full fee concession. No, you will simply write the word request for full fee concession. Your request for change of section. Okay? So the verb form is not to be used in subject now. Then after subject is the salutation. Now when you are writing as a parent or guardian, then the salutation will be dear sir or dear ma'am. ठीक है? जब आप as a parent or guardian letter लिख रहे हो school principal को, in that case आपने जो salutation use करना है वो है dear sir or dear ma'am. Ma'am में भी MAM ma'am नहीं लिखना होता है, ठीक है? When you write ma'am, because you skip the letter D there, madam is the full form. As you're skipping it, so when we skip, we put an apostrophe comma there. So we write MA apostrophe comma AM, right? So उस तरह से ma'am. After that, you start with the content of your letter. So it will have three parts. The first one, the introduction of your problem in brief, or whatever you want to share with the principal in brief. Then paragraph change, you will talk more about it. And in the last concluding paragraph, you will mention what you expect from the reader. Okay? And then you will write the signature, the complimentary clauses to be done there. So yours truly or yours sincerely. Okay? And then you will write your name. And if in case you are attaching anything with your letter, that means in your application somewhere you have mentioned that I am attaching the fee receipt of my payment made, whatever you are attaching with the letter, if you have mentioned this, that I am attaching so and so thing with the letter, then you need to mention at the end the enclosure part, where you will write by giving numbers. The number of attachments that you have mentioned, you will write there. So copy of fee receipt, copy of my mark sheet. So whatever you have attached or you have added with your letter, you will write about those. It is important to write enclosures in that case. Is it clear? So this is the format when you are writing as a parent, as a guardian. But when you are writing as a student, in that case, keep this in mind, you will not write sender's address because you are the student of that school. Is it clear? तो जब आप उसी स्कूल के स्टूडेंट हो, उस केस में आपने सेंडर्स एड्रेस को स्किप करना है. अब आप ये हमारी डेट कहाँ लिखेंगे, ठीक है ना? तो सबसे पहले आपने रिसीवर्स एड्रेस लिखना है, दैट इज द प्रिंसिपल, ABC पब्लिक स्कूल, फगवाड़ा. देन आफ्टर दैट यू कैन राइट द डेट, or the date can also be written at the end when you are giving the complimentary close date. ठीक है? So अगर आपने डेट ऊपर पहले लिख दी है तो फिर लास्ट में नहीं लिखोगे, but if you have not written then you have to write it at the end. ठीक है? So here the format includes the name of the principal, that is the designation of the principal, the name of the school and city, then you write the date there. उसके बाद आप लिखते हो subject. Then when you are writing as a student, here the salutation will differ. Here the salutation will be respected sir or respected ma'am. यहाँ आपने dear use नहीं करना, ठीक है? So when you are writing a letter to the school authority or college authorities as a student, then you will write the salutation respected sir, respected ma'am. And then you will write the content. Again, the content is to be written briefly. Mention what the problem is or what type of issue that you are discussing with your principal, and then mention it in 3 distinct paragraphs. Okay, introduction, then talking about the issue, and then conclusion. And then at the end, you can also write thanking you, and here you can write yours obediently. But these days, yours obediently is not written. Students can write yours sincerely also. Yours obediently में भी कोई नुकसान नहीं है, but spellings पर ध्यान दोगे. अक्सर आप obediently और sincerely की spelling wrong लिखते हो. So learn the spelling and don't write it wrong. ठीक है? So you here write yours obediently or yours sincerely and name, then your class, roll number, section, and the date if you have not written the date in the beginning. Is it clear? Because you are the student of the school, so you need to mention your roll number, your section, your class, and the date along with your name. Is it clear? So this is the format about letters to school authorities. Is it clear to all? Okay. Yes, students. So talking about debate, we all know that how debate is an argument or discussion done between two groups, two speakers, right? So when you are participating in a debate, you are actually in favor or against a topic given to you. And you mention all the pros and cons of that topic that you choose, right? So it is an argument or a discussion which is done between two speakers or two groups of speakers expressing their different opinions about in the subject. The topic which is given, you express your opinion. ठीक है? Now format में क्या आता है? सबसे पहले formal address, right? So what you have to keep this in mind, because whenever a debate is organized, it is in the form of a competition. So some jury members are always there, judges are present there, right? So whosoever the dignitary is present there, you need to address them. So you will start from a hierarchy is to be always maintained whenever you are giving a formal address. So सबसे पहले the jury members will be addressed, honorable jury members or honorable judges, then the principal, okay, so worthy principal, and use adjective with all the dignity, honorable, respected, worthy, this way, okay. Then your teachers, respected teachers, and my dear friends. And then once you have given the formal addressal, then you have to write the introduction. So you introduce, when you are writing it, how you will introduce? I, comma, ABC, comma, stand before you. आपने ये नहीं लिखना I, comma, is here. It is a wrong way of writing introduction. ठीक है? कभी भी I के साथ is follow नहीं होता है. When you are speaking in writing, talking in writing, so what you have to do is introduction में you will write I, then comma, your name. If the name is given in the question, use that or go for A, B, C, comma. फिर I के साथ जो है verb वो follow करेगा, subject verb agreement. तो I के साथ stand आएगा. I am standing the, it's a wrong way of expressing. ठीक है? So I, comma, ABC, comma, stand before you to speak. So you'll mention whether you are in favor of the motion or against the motion. So this way you will write it, and then once you have done the introduction, you will do the paragraph change, and you will give all the arguments, the point of arguments that you are going to give. Okay? So whatever you are going to speak, and this body portion is to be done in two paragraphs. One where you are showing, expressing your points of arguments, and then in the second paragraph you are contradicting your opponents. I have also shared a few phrases with you all. Learn those phrases to write a debate. It will enhance your writing. Okay? If you simply write a part and you don't use those phrases, then it will just amount to be a speech writing. ठीक है? Speech और debate में यही फर्क है, आपको उन phrases को use करना होता है. In my opinion, what I believe, I want to share that. I want to contradict my knowledgeable opponent. I want to argue with the facts that when you use these phrases, it clearly appears to the reader that he or she is reading a debate. So use those phrases when you are writing a debate there. ठीक है? And then conclusion. Once you have given, justified your point, then conclude it. And remember, when you are writing a debate, you don't have to write both the aspects. You have to go either for or against. If you're writing for, then stick to all the points which are related for the topic. If you're writing for against, then go for against only. दोनों नहीं मिलाना है डिबेट में, फिर वो डिबेट नहीं रह जाएगी, वो एक स्पीच हो जाएगी जहां आप हर तरह के पहलू की बात करते हैं. ठीक है? तो डिबेट में इस बात का खास ध्यान रखना है, और उसको आपने अपने एक ही मोशन को सपोर्ट करते हुए लिखना है. And once you have done the conclusion, you wind up whatever you have said in brief, and then you also give formal thanks in the end. You can either write in a sentence that I thank all the listeners for listening to me patiently, or simply thank you word can be written at the end. Okay? Now, marking scheme is also again 5 marks. Format 1, content 2, and expression and grammatical accuracy 2. Word limit 120 to 150. Do not exceed the word limit. Okay? Don't go for excessive elaboration of the topic and forgetting about the word limit. इससे नुकसान आपको. टाइम भी बचता है, मार्क्स भी डिडक्ट नहीं होते. ठीक है? So stick to the word limit. So डिबेट की जो बात की थी, आपको ये मैंने एक्सप्लेन किया था कि डिबेट लिखने से पहले you need to do a lot of research and make an outline of the work. ठीक है ना? So अब एग्जाम में तो रिसर्च का टाइम मिलेगा नहीं, so you need to prepare outlines there. I always suggest you to draw a column towards your answer sheet. Right side पे एक आंसर शीट पे ड्रॉ कर लीजिए रफ कॉलम, ऊपर हेडिंग दे दीजिए रफ हिंट्स फॉर डिबेट. और वहां पर सारे पॉइंट्स जो थॉट्स आपके दिमाग में आए हैं जॉटेड डाउन देयर, नोटेड डाउन देयर, तो रफली जितने भी आ रहे पॉइंट्स लिख दीजिए एंड देन गिव सम टाइम टू सॉर्ट इट, विच इज द स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट आर्ग्यूमेंट, राइट अबाउट दैट फर्स्ट। तो वीक है उसको आप लेटर ऑन इंक्लूड कर सकते हो, लेकिन जो आपका स्ट्रॉन्ग पॉइंट है आर्ग्यूमेंट का उसे पहले सपोर्ट करते हुए लिखिए। गिव स्टैटिस्टिकल फैक्ट्स, गिव डेटा, एड सम एग्जांपल्स, करंट एनालिसिस होना चाहिए। अगर आप डिबेट में करंट इश्यूज को ऐड करते हो तो इसके लिए इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू रीड न्यूज़पेपर थ्रू आउट। If you have the habit of reading newspaper, listening to the news, then you will always be updated with the current matter, and it always helps a student in writing good debate or good speech. So कोशिश करिए न्यूज़पेपर को रीड करने का, एटलीस्ट एक दिन में हाफ एन आवर जरूर निकालिए, दैट यू जस्ट गो थ्रू द हेडलाइंस, जो हेडलाइंस अच्छी है उनको डिटेल में पढ़ लीजिए। इस तरह से इट विल एनहांस योर नॉलेज, ठीक है। सो अपडेट योरसेल्फ, सो कलेक्ट इन्फॉर्मेशन। उसके लिए एग्जामिनेशन के दौरान क्या करना होता है, राइटिंग डाउन द हिंट्स and then sort it out, which point of argument is to be written first, which is to be written later, and how you will present it. जो कोहेरेंस एंड कोहेसिवनेस होती है, कोहेरेंस एंड कोहेसिवनेस होती है क्रोनोलॉजिकल ऑर्डर मेंटेन करना और उसे प्रॉपर लिंक करना। अगर आपके थॉट्स में लिंक नहीं है राइटिंग करते वक्त, देन वो भी सेंसलेस हो जाता है। आप टुकड़ों टुकड़ों में अगर डिबेट लिख देते हो तो दैट विल नॉट एक्चुअली ब्रिंग यू गुड मार्क्स देयर। तो लिंक द थॉट्स इन अ प्रॉपर मैनर। अगर आप थॉट्स को प्रॉपरली लिंक करते हो तो वो आपके डिबेट को और बेहतर बनाता है। एंड इफ यू आर गुड एट इडियम्स, गुड फ्रेजेस, यूजिंग दोज फ्रेजेस, इडियम्स, गुड पोएटिकल लाइंस, आपको कोई कविता की अच्छी लाइन याद आ जाए, add those in your debates and speeches, give those quotations there, it will always help you, and end it in a proper manner, ठीक है ना। तो इस तरह से आपने डिबेट लिखनी है। तो इंप्रेसिव इंट्रोडक्शन हो, यू कैन ऑल्सो एड इन द इंट्रोडक्शन सम headlines taken from the newspaper, some advertisement, good advertisement if it relates to your topic, some story, some quotation from poems, any article you can give there. So if you give an impressive introduction, half work is done there. Well begun is half done, हम कहते हैं ना। तो अगर अच्छी शुरुआत है तो आधा रास्ता आप तय कर लेते हैं। And then when you are elaborating the topic, support it with arguments and examples. Examples are important when you are writing speeches or debates, ठीक है? And then give proper conclusion. So this way you have to write the debate, ठीक है। कोई डाउट या क्वेरी है आप पूछ सकते हो डिबेट के रिगार्डिंग। So let us now revise the poem Childhood, right, written by Marcus Nathan. How this poem, it deals with the idea of lost childhood, the innocence of childhood that we lose as we grow with age, with time. So here we see that how the poet Marcus Nathan is obsessed with the thought that when he lost his childhood, कि उन्होंने अपना बचपन कब खो दिया। So he makes various speculations. He comes to various conclusions, and those conclusions, those speculations, he has beautifully written in these lines of the poem Childhood. And in the very first stanza, he says, "When did my childhood go? Was it the day I ceased to be 11? Was it the time I realized that hell and heaven could not be found in geography and therefore could not be? Was that the day?" So he starts the poem with the question with which he was obsessed, कि मेरा बचपन कब खो गया? And he says, he questions himself that was that the time when he stopped growing, stopped, we can say, when he ceased to be 11. So here he talks about growing in ages, in years, कि जैसे जैसे वो उम्र में बढ़ रहे थे और जब वो 11 साल के हो गए, अब 11 साल के तो और होंगे नहीं, that means stop being 11 now. When once he crossed the age of 11 years and he attained the age of 12, was that the day कि उसने अपना बचपन, जो innocence है बचपन की, he lost it. And he also says, was it the time I realized that hell and heaven could not be found in geography? See, here he talks about development of the rational ability. Rationality क्या होती है? लॉजिक्स के साथ किसी चीज को देखना। जब आप रैशनलाइज करते हो, किसी चीज को एनालाइज करते हो विद लॉजिक्स, एंड यू रियलाइज that hell and heaven, these are all imaginary places, and you cannot find these places in the books of geography, and therefore these things, they do not exist in reality. ये हकीकत में नहीं है. That means when you develop the ability to distinguish between facts and imaginary things, so he questions and he is surprised, he wonders. देखिए आप स्टैंजा के एंड में एक एक्सक्लेमेशन मार्क है. Here he wonders, he is surprised that actually was that the day that he lost his childhood, that when he developed the ability to think rationally. In the second stanza, he talks about the ability to see through the hypocrisy of the world. Hypocrisy, दोहरे चेहरे को जब आप देख पाते हो, एक इंसान जिसके दो चेहरे हों. He says, was it the time I realized that the adults were not all they seem to be? Adults कैसे दिखाई देते हैं? When you are able to see the face value, real face value of people, you realize that how adults, what they seem to be, they are not actually of that kind. He says that they talk of love, preached of love, but did not act so lovingly. The adults, the mature people, they talk of brotherhood, love and mankind, but they never follow these kind of preachings that they give. The young ones, they expect the elders to be what they are. That means the things that they teach others, they expect that they should also follow these things in their life. But in reality, what do we find? That they are not what they seem to be. हकीकत में वो अलग है. So हम जो है लोगों की हिपोक्रेसी को पहचान पाते हैं. तो क्या वाकई वो दिन था when I lost my childhood innocence? And then in the third stanza, he makes another speculation talking about his recognizing the individuality. When he understood that he was a unique person in his own way, he has his own mind. He says, was it when I found my mind was really mine to use whichever way I choose? कि मेरा जो दिमाग है, मेरी जो सोचने की एबिलिटी है, वो मेरी अपनी है. My mind is not controlled by others. I am able to take decisions whichever way I need to take. I don't depend on others. So producing thoughts that were not those of other people, but my own and mine alone. Poet कहते हैं that when I realized that I was able to take decision on my own and my thoughts were no longer influenced by other people, he is surprised again to get this answer that was that the day that I lost my childhood innocence. So he also says that when we develop rationality, when we are able to see the hypocrisy of the world, and when we become independent, when we are capable of taking independent decisions. जब तक हम adolescent age में होते हैं, teen age में होते हैं, we are actually dependent on our parents, our elders, our teachers. We always take their advice and follow their advice to take any decisions. But once we grow up, once we become mature, we realize that no, my mind, our mind is our own. We are capable of taking own decisions. So we do listen to the others, but the judgment that we make, it is purely taken by our own ability. So thus the poet says that, was that the day that I lost my childhood innocence? And now the poet in the fourth stanza, he brings a shift to his journey of thinking. We see the transformation from when to where. So finally he has made the speculations. He realized that when actually he lost his childhood, then he comes to the question, where did the childhood go then? अगर हमने अपना बचपन खो दिया है, तो वो बचपन कहाँ चला गया? And he says, it went to some forgotten place. एक ऐसी जगह जो हम भूल चुके हैं. But how have we forgotten it? इसका भी वो जवाब देते हैं कि we are actually absorbed or lost in the ways of the world. ये ways of the world क्या है? Competition, facing competition, earning livelihood. So ये जो mad rush of competition and mad rush of earning livelihood है, we are so lost in the ways of the world that we have totally forgotten about our childhood innocence. हम अपने बचपन को भूल गए हैं, अपनी बचपन की इनोसेंस को, भोलेपन को खो चुके हैं, भूल चुके हैं, और वो कहाँ जाकर छुप गया है हमें नहीं पता. And thus he says that is hidden in an infant's face, that is all I know. But the poet, He does not leave the readers in a vague thinking manner. He gives an answer to his questions too. He gives the readers a solution that you don't have to worry about your lost childhood. You can always get back the childhood, and he gives the answer that just look at the infant's face. एक छोटे से बच्चे के चेहरे को देखो, आपको अपना खोया बचपन दोबारा मिल जाएगा. आपका बचपन कहीं खोया नहीं है. You can still find it on an infant's face. एक छोटे से बच्चे के चेहरे पर you will find your childhood back again. You can get the childhood innocence back again. And he says, that is all I know. And this is what the poet has shared in the poem, Childhood. So he talks about the process of growing up, the things that is involved in the process of growing up. And what are those things? Ability of thinking rationally, ability to see the hypocrisy of the world, ability to take decisions on your own. And during this process, what happens is we lose our childhood innocence. And this is all about the poem Childhood. I hope it is clear, students. Okay.